My name is R. Crosby Lyles, and this is News from the Can. I want to start with the good news first. This is a Copernicus Atmospheric Monitoring Service. If you look on here on their page and just poke around, you'll see that they'll tell you how they verify the veracity of their information, their graphics and stuff. It's rigorous, okay? This is a product of the European Space Agency. And what this says is this is August. It's saying that in the summertime, the vegetation above the 30th, 40th parallel is consuming some of that CO2. Right? So this is showing you that, as it should. Trees also produce heavy volatile organic compounds, non-methane volatile organic compounds, and more on that later. The methane situation, this is a total column. Everybody looks at the total column. So they want the total column to look rosy. But 50 hectopascals is still, unless they've changed it. Yeah, still wall to wall. They say 600 parts per million. I'm like, well, you're saying it's saturated at that. We don't really know what it is. It could be more. Greenhouse gas in the stratosphere causes global cooling. Here, look. Climate reanalyzer. 2-meter temperature anomaly. There it is. August. So the white is nominal. And I mean, it's like not really looking that fucking atrocious. Already El Nino is gone. And anomalously cool in the middle of Africa. So it's a mixed bag, and it's the whole narrative about the planet just going saturating is what we're really talking about. Saturating to one extreme or the other. Could be 300 parts per million. I'm going to get through this real quick because there's okay, see, this is 300 hectopascals, and so you get a little relief up here. And this, I believe this happens every year. So it's not quite wall to wall, right? It's getting down into the lower 400s parts per million. Okay. 300 hectopascals, pressure level is about 30,000 feet. 500 hectopascals. See, it's a little better. It's Elon Musk has been talking about it for a long time. Although he's kind of, you really got to wonder what he's on. He's talking about here. This, let me show you this. So, I don't really want to go down that road necessarily, but he's talking about, he thinks that we could have 10 times the population that we have now. Oh, it's not such a big deal. I'm like, yeah. Well, what about this, Elon?
All right.
So look, this guy, the link is in the description. John Skinner Fishing. He's got a little drone, this nifty little drone that you can buy. This little doodad here that's on a cable, and you can send it down and take a look, if you're fishing or whatever. But what I want to show you, and this whole thing about 10 times the amount of people that we can have on the planet. I think he says this is about 90 feet down. And what's the date on this? 3 days ago. So this is August, something like that. That's the ocean. So I'm just going to say it. That water's too goddamn green. It could be. It's probably a consequence of more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. You will notice that there's probably cyanobacteria in the rain, frankly. Well, there's a lot of phosphate in the rain, too. This is from agriculture, as much as it is from any kind of carbon dioxide, right? But look how green that water is. I mean, that's absurd. Now, is this an artifact of the video architecture of his drone? Yeah, it could be. That's possible. It's entirely possible. But that's very green. That water is incredibly green. for seawater, that's 2 green. And that's off the coast of Long Island. So New York and New England, but especially New York. I took a trip one time from Sturbridge, Massachusetts to Niagara Falls, and the air smells like the county fair. What is that, 90? It's the turnpike. Goes from, I think it goes all the way from Boston to Syracuse. That entire trip in New York smelled like the county fair. It smelled like animal manure, and that's agriculture. So this methane that you're seeing around the surface level, on the surface, because, you know, it's good for you if you got a PhD after your name, then, you know, you can put your shingle out and you can hawk all kinds of bullshit. And so I've seen some PhDs on YouTube talking about, well, we don't really know where it's coming from, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. We know where it's coming from. That's 2 green, dude. This is from agricultural runoff. And so in New York, interestingly, in the Hudson River, I think, or something, they're going to put out 1 billion oysters because they're filter feeders to filter out the stuff. Now, having said all that, somebody could start a business harvesting, filtering the green out of this water and turning it into fertilizer, back into fertilizer. In other words, filtering it out of the ocean and then putting it back on the landscape. There's ways to do this. There are ways that can be done. And, you know, there might be money in it. And that's fine. That's great. I think they should do it. Do whatever floats your boat, whatever works. But it's a feel-good that's just, like, totally insufficient. Getting some high school kids out there to put out some oysters and shit. This is the ocean, dude, man. This is insane. That's the whole. Doesn't really look that bad from the surface. It doesn't really look. It looks pretty clear. Right? You can see the little drone down in there. So it's hard to tell really from the surface. But when he's getting down in here and you, okay, so here, right? This is at a lower depth. So it doesn't look that bad. It looks, it looks kind of blue-green. So maybe you wouldn't even be able to tell, but you start getting down into the depths. Is it an artifact of the video system, the video architecture of his drone? Could be. If not, that's too damn green. Straight up. And that's going to have an impact, and it's going to trap heat too. It's going to trap heat in different levels. If you go to anywhere where there's, like in your pool, if you have a swimming pool, you will notice, and you turn the pool pump off and you let it sit. So there'll be a layer of water that's like maybe 6-8 inches deep that will heat up, depending on how clean your water is. If your water is very clear, very clean, it may heat up on the bottom. Because CO2, one of the reasons that CO2 is not as bad as other stuff is because CO2 is invisible to visible light. The shortwave radiation passes right through. This is why it's a greenhouse gas. The shortwave radiation passes right through. It hits the ground, so it has to have an absorber. It has to have a shortwave absorber in order for it to do its dirty deal, of trapping heat. It has to have a shortwave absorber. If you have sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and stuff like that, smog-producing materials, all of a sudden the air itself is an absorber. Then you got problems. And so the water, in this particular case, this water is absorbing that shortwave radiation closer to the surface. So this is one of the things that would be raising sea surface temperatures. They talk about sea surface temperatures of 100 degrees right around Key Largo or something. That's from eutrophied water. That's from water that's turgid. And Side note, I went to St. Augustine recently, and one of the things about St. Augustine, they have, every now and then, they have a problem with fecal coliform. Because I guess they get a lot of sailboat traffic or something. You know, it's Florida, they've had some big fish kills. I've heard tale from people that Ron DeSantis was going to do something about that, and he's not such a bad guy because of that. So I don't know. You know what I would say to Ron DeSantis is, you know, read the room. You know, it's the autocracy thing is like not really kind of a boner killer nowadays. So I'm just saying, I want to just sort of, you know, gently like drift away from that whole whatever that is. You know, Florida's an agricultural state. The whole United States of America is agriculture. Big ag. That's who's running the show. Big ag, big oil. That's who's running the show. That's who will tweak your videos, turn them down, shut you up, make you go away. But this green water is also an opportunity for some person out there to go out there and start harvesting that stuff up out of the ocean. Could be a money-making opportunity. You know how people like to do stuff that's green and sustainable and good for the environment and all that stuff. So there's your tip. It can be, you know, look, we can rise up and do things. And Elon Musk is totally wrong. All right. So I just showed you the fucking CO2, right? I always want to, I've been trying to like watch my language. That's an impossibility. So a lot of the reasons that I watch videos anyway is for side material that they're not even really talking about. You know, details that slip out. Things that you don't really see on the news because everything is prepped and prepared for you because they want you to buy shit. You know what I mean? They're manipulating. They gotta keep the masses we are the natural resource that's being managed, obviously, you know. So there's that. But don't let that morph into, you know, and you know, Elon Musk and those, you know, those tech bro motherfuckers, they don't give a rat's fucking ass about you. They're the ones who are going to hook you up to the machine and enslave your ass. They don't give a rat's motherfucking ass about anybody but themselves. Straight up. They don't. Fuck them. So he's talking about, you know, that the Earth could sustain 10 times the population that it has now. And I'm like, bullshit. This green water here tells you right now that is bullshit. But anyway, so you see this. It ain't great. And that's from, this is from making solar panels and wind farms. Straight up. Okay, that's where it comes from. Waxes and wanes, 1,000 parts per million. See right here, it's at the surface it's 1,000 parts per million because this is why it's hard to breathe one of the reasons that it can get hard to breathe in the middle of the day or at certain times of the day in the jungle. It's the humidity basically pushes out the oxygen. You've got water vapor. So you're just breathing water vapor and you're not getting oxygen. That's one thing. The other thing is CO2. Because plants respirate. All right, so there's that. You add any more people than whatever the top they think is going to be, 8 billion or whatever. But the reason that they say that is because, you know, you go down below a certain population, billionaires are not sustainable. It's not sustainable to have billionaires because in order to be a billionaire, they have to chew through inordinate amounts of earth-derived material, and that and digging up and processing all that stuff to have billionaires will kill the fucking planet without a doubt. You know, and by kill the planet, we're talking about killing the flora and fauna which is what makes the Earth special. You know what I mean? So there's that. So, you know, they're just that. They spew that bullshit because they know that, you know, below a certain population threshold, you just can't have billionaires. They're not going to, you know, their wealth is totally dependent on the population and the ability, you know, and having eager people to hook themselves up, strap themselves to the oars, you know, to make them another fucking few $1 billion. So fuck all that, you know, those motherfuckers. Really, fuck them. God damn, you know. I mean, all that, you're gonna fucking destroy the earth so you can be a fucking billionaire, so you can be a demigod. How about you? How about that? How about fucking billionaires? Do you read me, Roger Ramjet? Taxes, it's just so unfair. Oh, it's just so unfair. Motherfucker made his money on the government tit. On the government teat. Okay? So anyway, that's it. So no, it's not sustainable. Look, the world's not coming to an end just yet. But, you know, the whole thing about global warming, it's like while you're paying attention to CO2 and they're wearing you out about CO2, all this other shit's going on. That's as bad or worse, you know. So that's why you have to have skilled managers in the government. You know, and it's like they keep talking about like the government. The government's bad. The government wants to get in your life. Well, who's really wanting to get in your? Some of these motherfuckers want their hand up in your wife's uterus. You know what I mean? What are they about, really? You know. So let's do what you got to do, and I would want to get rid of the, you know, this orange-haired fucking freak. Get rid of the weird. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. From the surface, it doesn't look that bad. See how like blue that looks? Kind of, sort of. Kind of got a blue affectation. Oh, look at that. It's so close. There you go. It's not so deep yet. That doesn't look that bad. Kind of cloudy. It's all right. Looks like kind of like half-assed seawater. And you get down to the bottom, and it's all of a sudden, man, it's fucking green. So, well, you know, yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. We're doing good. Everything's beautiful. Let's just make it happen, folks. Everything is beautiful in its own way, motherfucker. See, surface temperature anomaly. Yeah. We'll see. Anyway, that's it. Love you guys. Take care. Keep it real. See you. Bye.